Since I did my video, the Let It Go Contradiction Counter, I've come to reevaluate how to look at some of those contradictions. And I think the simplest way to look at Elsa's character is that she is fundamentally a cold person. This is one of the other characteristics, apart from the ones I've already mentioned, that go along with being a psychopath. A psychopath is someone who has a diminished emotional response in comparison to most people, or what we think of as normal people. This is someone who doesn't have empathy and who doesn't really have feelings to the same extent that other people do, and therefore has to learn them and mimic them and constantly be performing them in order to interact with other people. And for that reason, such people are typically isolated and they don't form lasting relationships, and this is exactly what happens during Elsa's upbringing. They shut her off after she shoots her sister in the head, presumably accidentally, and I think we really have to give full weight to Elsa's actions rather than her speech or her feigned emotions, because it's pretty difficult to accidentally shoot somebody in the head, and then after you're taken to the trolls and you're told that a heart wound is harder to change than a head wound, then go on to shoot your sister in the heart as well. I think we have to pay attention to the sheer lack of likelihood of someone accidentally shooting her sister in the head. Now, this brings new light to the strange line in the mantra she's told as a child growing up, "Conceal, don't feel," and which she repeats in the song "Let It Go." I think we don't have to necessarily interpret that for the best understanding of Elsa's character as concealing of feelings. I think we can interpret it as concealing of lack of feeling. Elsa does not hide what she feels. She hides the fact that she doesn't feel. What makes some villains sympathetic, Darth Vader for instance, is he's led into the dark side by fear. Fear is the beginning of the descent into evil. And we're told this by Yoda. Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. Now, he's more easier to sympathize with because he's presumably led where he goes by uncontrollable emotion. And what if you don't have that emotion? What if you don't have that vulnerability? Then if you simply choose to do evil, that makes you much less sympathetic as a character, and I think that's what Elsa is really doing and what she's really hiding. The cold never bothered me anyway then makes sense. But it means that she's been lying all along. Every time she's acted like her ability to create cold caused her distress or fear or some other form of being bothered, which I mentioned in my other video, she's lying. She's lying every time. She must be. And when she summons up a storm, pretending to be overwhelmed with emotion, it's to strike out at Anna again. When she turns Anna completely to ice at the end and she appears to cry over her, that's another one of the lines in this song that seems to be contradicted. She sings, "You'll never see me cry," and then she seems to be crying over Anna, but when she does so, she puts her head down. So we don't actually see Elsa presumably cry. We hear her making sobbing noises, but she doesn't seem to be genuinely grieving or distressed at the idea that Anna would give up her life for her, because she's genuinely delighted about it later on when she tells Anna how happy she was that Anna sacrificed herself for her. And she also does this big emotional scene when she has the biggest audience. She wants to be seen as caring and grieving and having feelings, but she does so to the greatest extent when there is someone to watch, when she has an audience. And this is another one of the characteristics of psychopaths, is that they have big egos, aside from the fact that they like to manipulate people and be in positions of power, and they're very charismatic and good at handling other people and superficial, and so on, all of which are characteristics which Elsa seems to have in abundance. So I'm really surprised, actually, when I read posts about this. They have an actual discussion of Frozen on an online forum about sociopaths, and these people were told that Disney said to everybody there was going to be a hidden psychopath in the movie. And everybody said, "Oh, well, it's the prince." But I think the prince is a pretty obvious psychopath. Maybe Elsa is too, and that it's so much out there in the open, so hiding in plain sight that people don't seem to talk about it much. But I don't think Elsa is in contradiction with the profile of a psychopath at all. A psychopath is fundamentally a cold person, someone who's unfeeling and simply uses other people in any way they see fit, feels the rules that don't apply to them. No right, no wrong, no rules for me, as she sings in the song. And someone who just uses other people as means to an end, which is the ultimate way of not treating them as human beings. So, yeah, I'm really surprised no one else has said this. I hope someone here will hear it. Thanks.